All right, this is really, really exciting. I'm so thankful I have the opportunity to be here at my old IVF clinic, and you're going to get a tour of what a real fertility lab looks like. And this is Glenn Proctor at Conceptions. He was my first babysitter of our embryo, and he's very generous to allow us in this space. So come join me. How do I flip this? Here we go. All right, we're going to do it.
All right.
Here we go.
So this is our tomorrow room, our cryopreservation storage room. We have the tomorrow tank here, which is probably the most sophisticated embryo storage platform in the world. We were one of the first in the world to implement this platform. And so what it does is all your embryos are stored in this tank.
Okay.
So we store your embryos in straws, and those straws are kept into this little device here.
Okay.
And so all your straws, this is all in liquid nitrogen.
So each person has one of those, individual.
Yeah.
And then how many can you put in there?
6 embryos.
6 embryos can fit in that.
So if
Okay.
we have more than 6, we have multiple little beacons.
Okay.
So they're RFID tagged here. So the computer system on the Tomorrow tank will read these tags and keep everyone safe and separate from everyone else, and also gives us a very accurate inventory of what we have.
Very cool. And how many embryos are in that?
Right now, probably about 3,200.
Wow.
Patients.
Okay. 3,200 clients.
Clients.
Okay. Wow.
And then our beacons, let me say.
3,200 of those.
Beacons.
Okay. Okay.
So some patients have multiple beacons. Patients
Gotcha.
have multiple beacons. So what this does, and walk over here for a little bit. So we have this all computerized, and this is a robot. So basically, when we enter, let's say we want Ms. Smith's embryo number 2.
Okay.
Enter that information into the system. The robot will go down and grab this beacon.
Oh wow!
And
It knows
so
where to find it.
It knows where to find it. So
That's
it eliminates the old method of, actually kind of what the old method looks like. So the old method, what most clinics have is just these tubers.
Okay.
And so you open it up, has liquid nitrogen in it, and there's like little canes that would be in here. And so the embryologist would have to pull that cane up.
Yeah, they don't do those anymore. They still do them. Would you
A
say?
lot of clinics still do that.
A lot of clinics still.
And
Okay.
so you just have like the name written on top of these canes. We have to go through, shift through, try to find the patient.
Yeah, I think I've seen that recently.
You have the right patient. And
Okay.
all the session numbers and stuff.
And how many can you fit in there? Probably.
This is a small one, but the bigger one's a couple hundred.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
And so what this does is it eliminates all that searching, plus it's safer. It's our RFID tag. The straws that are in this beacon are also barcoded with
Okay.
name, date of birth, and session numbers. So when we bring this beacon out, take your embryo that we need, we also have a barcode reader that we confirm that this is who this is, which then talks to our embryo, our witness system in the lab.
Okay.
So all the dishes are also RFID coded, so it's just a safe process through the whole.
Yeah, it's like triple, quadruple checked, right?
We still do the old school, like 2 embryologist verification system as well.
Wow,
so it's like quadruple check.
Right. Oh my
And
gosh.
so yeah, it's really cool. This is an elevator that basically goes down. This opens up.
Can I take a peek in there?
And embryos are down into these little sections. These little squares are a different rack that has embryos in it.
Okay.
So this little elevator will come down and grab one of those racks and pull it up.
Oh my gosh.
And then it tells us which one of these to grab.
Wow. Is this like the most state-of-the-art kind of equipment you can have within the fertility world?
Yeah, so there's nothing even close to it.
Wow.
So yeah, it's
So literally all of you have more of these?
this is the only one we got.
The only one you have. Okay.
We're getting another one this December.
Oh my gosh.
So it's one of those things that, we spare no expense with technology.
Yeah.
And it's just if your embryos are here, you can rest assured that they're safe. No one else touches your embryos. It's accurate. Patients call and say how many embryos we have. What we used to have to do is pull like a paper chart.
Yeah.
And then like confirm, go find them, confirm, or this, we just enter.
It's all automated.
What we have. Yeah.
Wow. So any frozen embryos that anyone has would go here.
And the cool thing about the system too is we check all the temperatures, readings all the time, our lipid nitrogen depths. But the Tomorrow company is also monitoring this 24/7.
Okay.
So if there's ever an issue.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is this tank won't alarm if there is an issue. It alarms us when there's a trend out of the norm. So
if there's
So if there's a power glitch, like, hey, there's a power glitch, or the temperature drops like 0.1 degrees.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
Hey, temperature fluctuates.
What is the temperature that they're at?
Right now they're at a negative 170 degrees.
And just to recap, we've had some more people join on live. So about how many embryos in here?
About 3,200.
3,200.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Then we also have cameras in here so that if I'm at home, I can also log in to see what the temperature is.
Oh, that's very
what
cool.
level is. I can actually look at it.
Wow.
Zoom in.
So it's at capacity, or how much room can it hold?
This one's about 70% capacity, and so that's why we're getting another one in December.
Okay.
And so we've had patients, that our own patients' embryos are in here, but we've also had patients from other outside clinics. That
Well, especially with everything going on, people are probably moving embryos around.
Yeah, just because it's a safer system. It's kind of fail-safe.
And then this little area here, can you tell us about what's going on here?
This is an Ivf workstation, so this area is heated, and so this is like our overflow room. So we do retrieval in this OR here.
Retrievals.
We can search for eggs or do embryo transfers out of this bed. So what this is this is body temperature. It also sucks in already really clean air from these rooms, and it also filters them and positive pressurizes them, so the air is always moving out. So I'm sitting here doing embryo biopsy, working with genetic material.
Yeah.
My genetic material can't get into this space.
Oh my gosh.
And it's also hooked with the camera, so you can see what's in the other.
You have multiple ones of these, right? Multiples?
3, 4, 5, 6 of these.
6 of them. And how many technicians work here, would you say? Or what is your title? Their title? I don't know. That's not the title.
We have 8 embryologists.
8 embryologists. Okay.
And so we're here 7 days a week.
Wow.
So we're all on a rotation. So it's usually at least 4 of us here a day.
Okay.
So we're very adequately staffed. We have rock star embryologists.
Oh yeah, you guys are good. The original babysitters, taking
Yeah.
care of our embryos.
So we can go into the next room.
Okay,
here.
sweet.
Let me make sure that
This is pretty cool. This is awesome. Am I loud?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
we like to jam out.
Hi. You're on video. You're on live. Say hello. Hello.
So this is the main IVF room. This Kristen here is doing an ICSI.
An ICSI? You are? Oh my gosh.
We retrieved this morning. So we have
Oh my gosh.
3 ICSI stations.
Wow.
All these microscopes have micro manipulators
Okay.
that hold the ICSI needles, so we can do the ICSI. They all have lasers on them, so we can do Embryo Biopsy. So we take pictures of the embryos. We have a computer system hooked up there, a great microscope as well.
This is so fascinating. This is the coolest experience.
And so, since these tables are even high tech,
Yeah.
we're working with microscopic material, so any even music vibrations or anything that make the embryos vibrate, that they won't because this table is.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
A big old piece of steel floating on air. So
Oh
the
my
jack camera
gosh.
beside us, this won't move.
Wow.
And then,
So she's doing ICSI right at the moment.
yeah.
That is so amazing.
So we have another IVF workstation here.
Very
We
cool.
mostly do Embryo Biopsy out of this.
Embryo biopsies here for genetic testing. Yeah.
And like, so all of our dishes and everything have a little RFID tag on them as well. So what this is it reads that tag and then it pops up the patient's name and the information pops up on the screen.
Okay.
And then if I were going to change your embryos from one dish to a new dish, then I tag that new dish with that patient's information.
Okay.
So it's always a rolling chain of verification.
Okay.
And so if
Wow.
someone else somewhere in the line works on your embryos, they know there's no mix up that can happen.
Yeah.
And
That
if
just
you did-
doesn't happen in your lab, does it? Ever.
But if you had a patient's embryos out and it was tagged, and you got another patient's embryos out at the same time, this whole screen goes red. Like
Oh.
alarms go off.
Wow.
So it's almost impossible. to
Wow.
have this up.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
And then we have incubators. So
Tell us about those.
these are incubators that we have your embryos growing in.
Okay.
And so what they are is body temperature.
They're growing there? The embryos are growing. So like the blast 3, 5, 7 days,
Yeah.
6 days?
So there's patients in here from various stages.
Okay.
And so we just keep track of where they are per day and do
Wow.
what we need to do today. So each little compartment, only one patient goes in each little
Oh, one
compartment.
patient in each? Okay.
So, and then
So is this from how many days? Like they're all at different levels, you said?
different days.
Different days, different levels.
We try
Okay.
to not put patients on the same, that are on the same day in the same incubator.
Yeah.
Just because
Okay.
it limits the number of times this incubator's open.
Oh my gosh.
So there may be like, if we have 5 like birth check patients, there'll be one in here, never in the same.
Is this the max you can have going on?
I know we have these.
You have more,
different
okay.
styles of incubators. But
Oh, different
basically
styles.
the same.
Okay.
We also have data loggers, so they're all also monitoring what's going on.
Oh my gosh.
The incubator
And multiple embryos in each, you said? Or
Each compartment. So this
each
is
compartment has
that's a
multiple.
compartment.
Okay.
So only one patient per compartment.
Okay,
And then
okay.
we color code each patient that
Okay.
matches their chart. And so,
Wow.
yeah.
Isn't this incredible? Do you guys have questions? What do you want to ask reproductive specialists here?
And then, so the incubator monitors CO2 levels, oxygen levels, body temperature, and this data logger is an outside component of that also is monitoring to check, make sure the incubator sample is supposed to be safe.
Okay.
So,
And then when you're watching to see them divide and grow, how do you go under the microscope and look at them? How is it all monitored by the computer?
no, we take them out. To
Okay.
Each one of these.
Yeah. Okay.
Each one of these microscopes to
Can I show that?
see what stage they're on.
This is so freaking cool. Wow.
Kristen is doing ICSI right now, and then tomorrow we'll come with fertilization.
Wow. Okay.
So she's done. She'll
So cool.
come
Yep.
To that front desk.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Put those embryos away into their appropriate dish.
Okay. Wow.
You can see on the screen up there, going to the patient buildings, that you can see
Yeah.
that the computers is keeping track of all the material that's in that HUD belongs to that patient.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if there was, if you had another patient somewhere nearby, like I said, that thing would alarm and go off.
Okay.
So it's a pretty cool system. We were also one of the first. in
Someone just
Colorado
asked,
to have to-
how you become an embryologist?
There's a lot of different avenues. There's not a lot of schools that do embryology degrees, but CSU is one of the schools.
CSU does them? Okay. Colorado State University?
Eastern Virginia Medical School has one.
Okay.
But a lot of people just do like biology or physiology.
Okay.
Or like that.
Where did you go?
I went to Lander University for undergrad, and then
That Texas, right? Wait.
in South Carolina.
Oh, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
You have the southern accent.
Yeah.
Texas, maybe?
And then the university. Then
A 4-year
the
degree?
part
Okay.
The part that takes the time is the training. Some depends on the person and their skill level.
Yeah.
Apparently, obviously there's the book knowledge that you need to know as far as all the scientific process to go on. But there's a lot of hand-eye coordination.
Oh, yeah.
Some people are good embryologists and some people are not so good. So it's like a mix of the two.
Okay.
And then sometimes they say it takes about 2 years to become a fully trained embryologist, like in the workplace, but I found that it's very dependent upon that individual. Some people are quicker than the others. So we're always monitoring, doing quality assurance, monitoring each embryologist. ICSI rates, blast development rates, transfer rates, all that kind of things. We have standards that we have to meet to continue.
Yeah.
We're constantly monitoring everything that goes on.
This is amazing.
So this is Sarah, and what she's doing,
Hello.
she's making dishes for the next day because all the procedures that we're going to do on the embryos tomorrow, those dishes have to be made today so that they can get an appropriate pH overnight into the incubators.
For transfer or retrievals for tomorrow?
For retrievals and moving embryos from like day 3 to day 5.
Oh, do they go in a different solution?
They go in different solutions on
different days.
What the embryo needs.
That's incredible. So how many different types? You need solution for day 1,
Yeah, we use a sequential media, so basically 3 different solutions during the 5 to 6 days. There are some clinics that use a one-step solution. It's only one, but we just for us.
Yeah.
We found that we have the best outcomes with a sequential media.
What is it like made of? What is the?
It's mostly like sugars, amino acids, proteins.
Oh my gosh. Our babies start to sugar.
So yeah.
Sugar babies.
So they need different things at different stages. So with a sequential media, we're giving them what they need at the stage they're at, and the one-step media has everything the embryo needs, and the embryo just chooses what it needs when it needs it.
Oh my gosh.
But like I said, we've looked at both of those, and everything that we do in this lab, we've tried different ways of doing it, and we just find what works best for us.
Okay.
Because every lab is also different.
Yeah, well, that's a huge part of this whole process. You want to find a good lab, and yours is world renowned, isn't it? I mean, it's up there. Yeah.
So we have good rates.
Yeah.
But we work hard to kind of tweak our system to make it.
Yeah.
And what we do here may not work for another clinic because we're also at a higher elevation. So our incubators are programmed differently.
Okay.
So there's a lot of factors going in, like humidity, the building.
But this is the lab. This is the whole lab for the whole clinic.
Yeah.
Right? For all your locations, correct?
Yeah, all the Ivf clinics. We have the building next door. We do embryology.
Oh, okay.
Sperm stuff,
Yeah. Okay.
and all the endocrinology.
That could be another video, maybe.
Yeah. It's all the hormone labs and everything.
Okay.
It's done next door.
Gotcha. All right. I thought this lab would be a lot bigger for some reason. I just envisioned it.
Yeah, I mean, you can make it bigger, but it's one of those things where you have to have an appropriate size that you can control, because we also have an air filtering system. So this is a very controlled room.
Yes.
So
I was very careful not to wear any perfume, lotion, any of that in this room today.
So if you had a bigger room, there would be a bigger environment.
And tell me, what are all the tubes going on here?
So we pump in CO2. So what these incubators are made to do is to mimic the inside of a woman's body.
Wow. Okay.
And so, body temperature, we have CO2 pumping in because it needs to be a certain CO2 level. We also pump in nitrogen gas, which drives down the oxygen level. Because inside of your body is about 5% oxygen.
Okay.
Our ambient air that we're breathing is about 20%.
Oh my goodness.
We use nitrogen drive down that oxygen to about 5%.
This is really fascinating. Fascinating.
So, yeah.
Thank you for letting us see your lab.
We can head
Okay.
this way.
Perfect.
A couple more areas. So here's some more HUDs in here.
Okay.
That we usually do thaw and freezing embryos in.
This is where you thaw and freeze them?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And then Sarah here, like I said, is prepping dishes to be used tomorrow.
Okay.
Which is also a pretty labor-intensive process as well.
Wow.
So.
Thank you.
And then this room is just some of our, this is what most clinics use. Most of these are empty.
Okay.
We moved everything to the tomorrow tank,
Yeah.
but we still have some patients in here
Okay.
for various reasons.
Awesome.
So we'll eventually get rid of all of these.
Very cool. All right. Eventually, that's the plan, just to move to the big.
Yeah.
What do you call it? A cryo?
The tomorrow tank.
Tomorrow tank.
Yeah.
Okay.
TMRW.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
No worries.
That's the tour. Let's go chat for just a little bit, if you're cool with that. I'm gonna charge up. Is there a place I can like plug in? Let's see. Look at all the beautiful pictures.
Chat.
In here?
Maybe.
Okay. I'll do that.
Here, I can just.
Thank you. Awesome. All right, let me turn this around. All right. How cool is this, right? So amazing. People are like, wow, this is incredible. So, yes, we just had World Embryology Day, which was July 25th, right? Mm-hmm. And Louise Brown, who we all know was the first IVF baby. And tell us, like, what even got you into this work? Like, what fascinated you to become an, what is the title?
Embryologist.
Embryologist, the first babysitter.
I think a lot of people go about it different ways. Back in the day, like in the early days, a lot of people went from the animal industry, the bovine industry, into human IVF. And for me, I just kind of fell into it.
Oh my gosh.
I was doing a lot of genetic work as far as karyotyping and fish, like genetic.
Okay.
Identifying genetic disorders, and then I kind of met a guy that was a lab director back in the day, and he was like, "Hey, you want to come work for me?" And
wow,
you know,
from fish to babies.
Yeah, make some test tube babies, and I was like, "Sounds fun, let's do it." So
wow,
that was probably about 22 years ago. And so,
okay.
So I've been doing it ever since.
Oh
It's changed a lot.
Yeah, tell us like what are some of the biggest changes that you see within this field, like
the culture system's way better. We used to only have the ability to grow embryos about day 3 because the technology wasn't as good, but now we go to day 5 and day 5 and day 6, so we can tell a lot more about the embryo. A lot of patients lose their embryos from day 3 to day 5 just because around day 4 is when the human genome's activated, and so if that doesn't happen, the embryo stops growing. So we can eliminate those embryos, and we won't transfer those embryos because they're not fit for life. So by going an extra couple days, we know a lot about the embryo as far as their quality and their potential. And then the way their survival rates, we used to freeze embryos back in the day, used to be like 60% survival rate. And now, like with vitrification, things have got better, so now it's about 100%.
Really?
You know, our survival rate's like 99.4%.
For the thaw you're talking about? Okay.
So we don't change.
Our babies survived the thaw.
Yeah. So it's very rare when we have one not survive.
Okay.
And usually when that happens, we know it going into the freeze, not coming out of the thaw.
Okay.
Genetic testing has been huge.
Yeah.
We used to not be able to do genetic testing, and then genetic testing came on board, and then we used to do genetic testing at the day 3 stage. So we were taking 1/8 of the embryo.
Okay.
Where now we do day 5 biopsies. We're taking 3 to 4 cells. We get a better idea of what's going on with the embryo. But the embryo is 130 cells, so you're taking a smaller percentage.
And how
of the embryo.
accurate? Like, I don't know if you can answer that, but with PGTA testing, and we did it, and I'm so grateful we did. But like, is capturing just a few cells like enough to really, for the most part, identify like if it's a genetically healthy
pretty accurate. There's some, there is a situation called mosaicism where you can have mostly normal cells, but then you have a small patch of abnormal cells. And the theory is that maybe you biopsy those abnormal cells and calling that embryo.
I'm not there.
And calling that embryo abnormal when it's normal, but that the incidence of that for us in our lab is less than 4%. And so what we're finding, and there's some studies that come out that show that some of that's lab induced. So for us, ours to be so low is really good.
Yeah.
And then, but it is a natural occurring situation, but it's very rare. And so we do transfer low-level mosaic, but any high-level mosaic we don't transfer just because it's too big of a risk.
Okay.
And then you're probably going to, for some patients, if you did that, transfer to high-level mosaic, you're going to prolong their fertility and maybe make it worse, because then you have to do DNCs, you may have some uterine scarring. There's a lot of things that go into deciding should you transfer a mosaic embryo. And so for us, we don't.
You don't.
Unless it's, like I said, low, up to like 40% mosaicism we'll transfer, but anything higher than that we won't.
Okay.
We consider that an abnormal embryo.
Okay.
And then as far as other advancements, ICSI, when I started doing an ICSI case was a rare occurrence. We used to do conventional IVF where you just put sperm and eggs together and drop.
And let them just figure it out.
The problem with that is sometimes, you have the patient's eggs look really nice and sperm look normal, and the next day we had no fertilization. So you don't know if did a sperm never even get into the egg, or did it get in the egg and just had no fertilization?
You don't know which was the challenge. If it was more egg or sperm?
Yeah.
Is that kind of okay? So now ICSI.
So now we do 100% ICSI.
All
just because
ICSI.
we get better fertilization, and then if you have like a low fertility rate, at least we know that a sperm is inside that egg. There may be some genetic issue going on. So
and for those who don't know, tell people what ICSI, ICSI.
Intracytoplasmic sperm injection.
And you take one single sperm and inject it in one single egg.
One single egg.
Yeah. Very specific. Someone asked, do you have any clinics in Texas?
We don't. We're only in Colorado.
Just Colorado.
I know some good clinics in Texas, though, so you can reach out to Lisa and I can give you her contact.
Yes. Any questions? Glenn is a wealth of knowledge. Embryologist here. And you're the head, right? You're the head embryologist.
Yeah, kind of. Have transitioned into like COO now. And, help run the business, but I still do embryology daily, just because.
I mean, you must love it, right?
I like doing it.
I remember when I had my transfer, and wasn't there there's like a window or a little door that they hand over the embryo? Did I miss that? Was that from the lab?
From here, what we do is we just open the door.
Oh, you just open the door.
The embryologist carries the transfer catheter.
Yeah. So
into the clinic or into the transfer room, the doctor will insert the catheter into the uterus, and the embryologist, we're actually the ones that are plunging.
Oh, you are
the
the
embryo.
ones.
Oh. So we do a little 3, 2, 1 countdown.
3, 2, 1, fire.
And then you're pregnant. So yeah, we do that. We have a lot of here at Conceptions. We have a lot of patient interaction. Like our embryologists call the patients. For a lot of clinics, they don't talk to the embryologists. So that's a lot of our day is just talking to patients. And like when we do genetic testing, we call the patient with the genetic results and explain what would happen to each embryo, which ones are normal, if it's a boy or girl, if you want to know that information. So. And
this might be too, how many genetic places are there to test? What do you have one place you all send your embryos out to, or are there multiple?
We used to have one place, but now we have multiple places, just to based on a lot of these genetic testing facilities have got so specialized in certain areas, and so basically, depending on what the patient's presenting with, will determine where we want to send that patient for testing.
How many different places are there, would you say, in the country that do genetic testing? Any idea?
10 plus, maybe.
This just came up in my fertility group call, my support call. We were talking about testing embryos and where to go.
Probably about 10. But we use specifically 2.
You use 2, okay. I'll have to
Yeah.
get that off the camera, and I like to know who you guys use and recommend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very cool.
It's a fun job. It's a lot of work. We have to be here. Embryos don't stop growing, and we're at the mercy of the.
There's always someone here. Would you say
Pretty
20, not 24/7? Is there?
7 days a week.
We're
we're at the mercy of the woman's cycle. So whenever she's ready, if it's Sunday, we got to come get eggs. And then we have, because of that, we have embryos at various stages. So every day there's something. Some patients' embryos need some attention every day. What
would need that? What kind of?
So since we use a sequential media, so if we do ICSI today, so you saw Chris doing ICSI.
Yep.
So tomorrow, right now they're in what's called FERT media.
Okay.
And so tomorrow we'll look for fertilization, and for the ones that have fertilized, we transfer those embryos to cleavage media, which helps them get to day 3 stage.
Okay.
And on day 3, we come and make sure that it should be between the 6 to 8 cell stage. So we look at those embryos and we move those embryos into a different petri dish that contains blast media. That helps them get to the blast stage.
Okay.
And then on day 5 and day 6, based on their development and their quality.
Some need a little extra TLC, huh?
Some of them need a little bit of pushing.
Pushing along. Yeah, I remember. Gosh, just some pull through right at the end, kind of, right?
Yeah, some. Most embryos grow the same all the way up to day 5, and about day 5 they start growing at different stages.
Okay.
So you'll have some embryos that are just gorgeous and beautiful on day 5, and they're ready to be biopsied, and some are just a little bit slower, and they're ready on day 6, which is perfectly fine. Because we usually leave every day about 4:30, and so we'll look at them at the end of the day. If they're not quite ready, they may have been ready 7 o'clock at night or something. We'll just catch those that next morning.
Oh, okay.
And so we usually do day 5 biopsies in the afternoon, and day 6 biopsies first thing in the morning. So we're trying to catch them at their.
You don't go past day 6. Typically?
We used to, but what we found is the pregnancy rate is extremely low, and it's a high miscarriage rate associated with those embryos.
Good little tip there.
So we just push. We wait till we have found if they're not there by afternoon of day 6, they're not going to be.
Okay.
If they're there on day 7, there's a reason why they're late. And so we used to biopsy day 7 embryos, and for us in our clinic, we also found a higher aneuploid rate with the day 7 embryos. So there's a reason why they're a little slower. There may be some genetic issue.
Oh, okay.
And so we just stopped doing day 7s just because, it was kind of giving some false hope to patients.
When you get a healthy blast, is it you want to see the hatching typically, or is it
Yeah, so we hatch on day 3.
Okay.
So we use our laser on day 3. So we use a laser to cut.
Explain that. What does that mean?
So we have a laser. So we do the embryo biopsy. It's kind of like a microsurgery on the embryo. We're basically just cutting a couple cells off the embryos. We use a low voltage laser pulse that cuts at the cellular level. You can't see laser beam shooting out. But we also use that laser on day 3. So when we look at those day 3 embryos before we move them to their blast media, we put a hole in their eggshell. It's called assisted hatching. And so what we're doing is, because some of the theories, some causes of infertility could be that the eggshell, which is called the zona pellucida.
Yes, zona pellucida, right.
It is made up of glycoproteins, and if you have you could have a makeup of glycoproteins that makes that eggshell rigid, so the embryo can't hatch out, because it's kind of like a chicken at that point. It needs to get out of its shell.
Oh my gosh.
And so what we do is we put a hole in the eggshell to ensure that embryo can hatch out of its shell.
Okay.
We also is nice because it starts hatching on day 5, and so we just grab those hatching cells and from the biopsy.
And do what with those?
And send those off for testing.
You send those for testing. Okay.
So the day 5 or day 6 stage, you may have some embryos that are hatching or already hatched based on how fast they're growing.
And on day of transfer, do you guys like to see a hatched embryo?
On day of transfer,
does that matter?
That doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter.
We want to see, we assign 2 grades to each embryo.
we grade the baby part and we grade the placental structure. So we like to see A quality embryos, obviously. Then any mixture of AB or BA. And then BB. But BB embryos are really good.
They're good too.
They should be
very cool. There's any questions you guys have for Glenn, embryologist? Yeah, I wanted to do this just like in honor of World IVF Day, and it's such a cool experience to check out a lab like in person. And this is where our little embryo was, and our one pulled through, made it out of 7. So grateful, but just so thankful for all that you and your team do. And I don't know where we'd be without you guys.
So I think we have a team that, one thing about working at this clinic, we know the patients, and so there's that connection with the patients. So you're trying to always pull in for the patient to do well. And so it makes it fun. It makes it we play a big part in this whole process. So.
You wonder if sound vibrations, like playing music, and like just are there any like studies that show
so actually there used to be like a little communication, it still is there a little bit, used to be called embryo mail. So if you had a question, you just shoot it out, and all the embryologists were part of the embryo mail. So if you had a weird question, you just threw it out there and someone would answer. And some body said, do you think playing music in the lab?
Because I heard music, obviously. The sound vibration, the sound waves.
It's almost like, do you think that bothers embryos? It's kind of like the person that sent it like as a joke almost. And then these guys from Japan, I guess, like
studied it.
Really did a real study and actually saw that it actually improved.
There you go. They're dancing in the little petri dishes.
Well, just like because like any vibration and stuff, if you look at a natural pregnancy, the woman's walking around. Whereas if they move a little bit in the dish, it's not a bad thing. And so we jam out. So
that is really cool.
We've even had I have a fun story about music. We had a patient. She had severe DOR. She really almost didn't meet criteria to go to retrieval, but she really wanted to try with her own eggs before she went to donor egg, and we got one egg.
One egg, okay.
One egg. It was mature.
Nice.
But she's like, this is all my marbles are on this one egg. So, but they were like big Johnny Cash fans. And so she's like, can you play Johnny Cash
in the lab?
In the lab overnight. And so we did, just we thought it was funny. But it fertilized, went to a blast, came back normal.
Oh my gosh, that's the best story.
She had a little boy. And she delivered a little boy, and she named him Cash.
Oh, that's so cool. Did you tell her that you did all that? Playing the music?
Yeah, she made us a CD.
She did? That's so cool. So. I believe in that, I'm all into the spiritual stuff. And even like Reiki, you wonder, just energy work, if that would even impact or help. I'm just curious, but that's so cool that you did that.
So it was, we're a little superstitious.
Yeah. No, that's really cool.
I think every embryologist, I have like little quirky things I do.
You do?
Like when I'm doing ICSI, if I have like little superstitious things that I do. To try to it makes me feel like I'm doing my best.
Your best, right. Well, everyone, brings their own energy. Your embryologists all are a huge part of this. So you want all the best vibes going into the making of them. Very cool. Anyone have any questions? This is wonderful. Thank you so much for doing this.
No worries.
This is Glenn at Conceptions. He was my embryologist, and we're here in Littleton, Colorado. You have how many clinics? Just the 2 main ones?
We have, this is the mothership here.
The mothership?
Ivf Lab is, and we have 3 satellite offices.
Okay.
One at Sky Ridge, one at
Sky Ridge. Forgot Sky Ridge.
And Rose and Lafayette.
Yep. Awesome. Fascinating stuff. Thanks for sharing. Oh, yes. Appreciate all you do. So thanks for tuning in, and connect with me at IVF Manifesting a Miracle, and check out Conceptions. Wonderful clinic, and talk soon. Bye.
See you later.